Okay, thanks.
All right, we got James. Nice setup there. Is that a broom closet at NPR, or do they let you get in the
No,
studio?
this is at home. So that's
Okay.
my daughter's crib right there.
Oh, setup there. It's cute. Is that a broom closet at NPR, or do they let you get in the
No,
studio?
this is at home. So that's
Okay.
my daughter's crib right. Do we have echo?
Oh
From where?
yeah, kind of. I was looking at the YouTube stream. Is anybody
Oh,
opposed to?
got it.
Oh, let's see if I can get this. Some folk. All right, so I'm trying to figure out a good way to be operating Zoom while at the same time in full screen showing the slides I'm attempting to present. Because like right now, let's see, where am I at? Am I even presenting that properly? I was showing something. Oh, maybe I'm in here. Yeah. Okay, so let's make sure we got this right. All right, that's fine. I guess I could do this on like preview or something. That'd be a thing. When we're getting in chat here, someone said something. Tanim says yes.
Oh, he was just saying that he could hear me.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Well, either way, it was very affirmative. So, you know, it's always nice.
You have a radio voice there, James.
No, it's all the microphone.
Oh, really?
I just borrowed a microphone from work. So it's what is it? They even gave me like a USB interface. So it's this microphone. I don't know.
Sweet. So all it takes to sound good is just the right microphone?
That's like 90% of it, I think. You know, when you hear people in, well, no, actually some of the old school guys have they have booming radio voices. But you know, the younger folks are just, you know, you probably wouldn't know if you met them that they were on the radio.
All right. Who else we got here? See the full. All right. We got, someone with no name. No, never mind. It's not right. Can't be right. Wait, where are the names? How do I say hi to people if I can't see the names? Oh, there we go. All right. We got Kartik. We got Tanim. And we got the production crew. Oh, I guess we don't have Violet yet. I should start throwing some links around. Wait, why is my link share or screen sharing paused? What? That was weird. All right. I'm gonna take a minute more. We got 10 minutes till the hour. We usually take about 10 minutes after while people mingle. Most people are, you know, they'll get here. They'll be like, oh, I should go to this. And it'll be 7. And then like 7:05, they've showed up. So I'll be right back. Can you guys see my screen? It says starting soon.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There we go.
So do you do any Django and Flask development, James?
I did Flask, and then I moved over to Fast API. So I started using that, but mostly it wasn't really like I only made an internal website with Flask.
Sure.
It was just like it would just like analyze what we had for our files, our audio files. You know, and do certain properties. So like when it was due, it would alert us, you know, things like that. And then I moved over to Fast API, but mostly I've been using it for. I tried to make a website with it, but I didn't. I got fired before before I finished it. So, but mostly I just used it for like connecting the Linux side and the Windows side of like, WSL. So the Linux subsystem with the Windows side. Yeah. So I'd have it send like requests to the, you know, HTTP requests to the Linux side.
Okay.
Is that right? Probably.
Well, it's all RESTful, right? So
yeah,
that's what Flask is for.
Yeah.
So you find it's like a full, like an easy transition from Flask to Fast API?
So I haven't used Django. I'd say yeah, it's not too bad. I think I just had to learn more about the typing and the data classes, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad for me. But I also wasn't using like its full capabilities either, so.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I've read is like Fast API is being kind of groomed to be the successor of Flask, which actually works for asynchronous websites.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And I guess it's got much better performance in terms of processing, consuming requests and calls than Flask does.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard, but I haven't used it like enough for with enough of a load, you know, where I would see a difference.
Okay. Oh. I'm looking at the Fast API web, I guess, homepage, and it looks like it uses a similar syntax as Flask does. I think maybe.
Yeah, that's intentional.
Okay, yeah, they want to get the Flask folks.
Yes. So what? Flask is like what? A 10-year track record. It's like started about 10 years ago.
Or maybe 15, I forget. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so there's like lots of documentation, lots of projects in it. Once you've become a master of it, you don't want to have to start from scratch. You want most of the things to copy over.
Right. Okay.
So are you using a Flask right now, Robert?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So I developed a business website with it.
Oh, nice.
Flask and SQL Alchemy.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I also started, so at the same time that I tried building a website with Fast API, I also started using SQL Alchemy.
All right, how we doing on turnout? Oh, we got literal half dozens.
Yep. Well, it's going to take people some time to drive over, right?
Yeah.
You just have to provide free food for these events. That's the
Right.
thing.
Have you done any work with like audio and video streaming from Flask, James?
No, not yet.
That seems like that would be right up
actually,
your.
There was I did do there was like this piece of engineering equipment from one of the stations that had like it had basically a WebSocket. So I just connected to that and then routed it through. I forgot what it was. Oh, just the WebSocket library, one of them in Python. And the idea was to like elevate the protocol or elevate it to WSS. But I just never got it to work. So yeah, we were trying to. So we were building like an internal engineering site where it was well, you know, we wanted it to be secure, so use HTTPS. But then if you elevate to HTTPS, then you can't have an unsecure WebSocket. Is that right? So yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
There's no way to reverse proxy it or something like that. I don't know enough about the technology to. Well,
that's kind of what we were trying to do. Is just route it through this WebSocket server and then elevate it, like make it secure, and then pipe it to the website. But you know, I don't know. I just got stuck. So
that happens.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned Python and audio video, any of you use YouTube DL? Professionally or personally?
YouTube downloader?
Yeah.
The one that was taken off of GitHub?
Yep, that was DMCA'd.
So that's still on PyPy.
What was that?
Still on the Python package archive.
Yeah, but you know, you've got to update it fairly frequently, otherwise it doesn't work. And I think the updating process still works. I don't know how it does. I haven't looked at it in more detail, but
so there are places besides GitHub, you know.
Well, I don't really hack onto it. I just need something that works. So I do a pip update, and it seems to be updating and working for me so far.
Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Cool. I don't see the green box around my screen when I talk like I do for others.
Check. Oh yeah, actually, I don't see it for myself either.
Interesting. Seems like a design oversight.
Okay, so can you hear nursery rhymes in the background here?
I cannot.
Okay, good. Because my kids are watching nursery rhymes right now. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab some water.
All right, who we got? All right, we got some people.
How's
All right,
everybody
what's
doing?
up, Cliff? Hey,
Happy
Jim.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Welcome, Chris. I don't think I've seen you here before. Jim, I know you. James Audio, newbie as well, maybe. Welcome. Mr. Lockwood, welcome back. Hey, did James and Julia fill up their place yet?
Did they what?
But they moved out, right?
Next week.
Next week. Are there tenants lined up?
They got a week left till finish.
Nice. All right, then I don't know how to pronounce Babalam Dari. Kartik was here, Tanam's here. Veza, welcome. Oh, Violet made it on. What's that? All right, we'll give it like 6 more minutes. We'll get started at 7:10.
Sounds good.
Jim, do you have a wig on?
Wig, you know, I've got the COVID-19. I'm not going to let anybody infect me by touching my haircut.
Oh,
So
nice. There we go.
I bought a
Yeah.
couple hats off Amazon, and I just kind of decided to be one of those guys who wears hats.
Awesome. Well, very good. I'm excited for tonight. James and Paul have some pretty good ones. I think we'll try to do the Brady Bunch thing. How do I get to full screen so I can see Brady Bunch? Do I have to be not screen sharing?
Correct. Yep.
Well, let's see. Maybe we could do it at the end or something. No, we usually lose people. I'll just drop screen sharing once we get going. All right, I'll be right back. 5 minutes.
Now, if he trusted us, he'd not be sharing a screen right now, so we could put up all manner of things on the screen. But
How's life, Robert?
Pretty good. Business is coming along.
American River Gold or consulting or both?
For right now, American River Gold. I want to get more into consulting. Yourself?
Yeah, keeping busy. A lot of zooming, you know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm used to like having some face-to-face with clients and not being entirely remote, but you know, it's okay. They said an article I was reading today said that there are over 125,000 new cases of COVID-19 every day in the United States now.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah, and the mayor of Chicago issued a stay-at-home order. They're increasing the lockdowns and the social distancing in a lot of parts of the country. They said, I was reading an article about, so I was trying to understand the whole thing about this vaccine that was potentially announced recently. And they said it's going to take till the end of 2021 for them to produce 1 billion doses. And, you know, there's 6 billion people in the world, and that they all have to be kept at super low temperature. So they're going to have to be distributed in refrigerated trucks and refrigerated compartments in airplanes, which might not be scaled up to be able to handle that capacity. So just even the logistics of shipping the vaccine once it's produced and then manufactured is going to be this huge, huge enterprise over the course of the next 14 months or so.
yeah, I think it was minus 80 Celsius that they had to keep it until they.
Yeah.
And then you got to have 2 doses. We should all invest in dry ice.
So a vaccine works by giving a weakened strain of a virus, presenting a weakened strain to the body so that it has a chance to develop antibodies, right?
And they
yes,
go
but
ahead.
I think this is a different approach.
Does anyone here know about mRNA, messenger RNA?
Just what I've read, that's that different approach, right? Where it's going to actually present some spike type proteins, but that are not really the COVID, just to kind of make the immune system aware of that type of cell and have it develop antibodies based upon the type of cell.
Yeah, that's a different type of problem.
Maybe we'll all get lucky and the virus will mutate into benignness in the meantime.
It will mutate into what?
It'll become benign. It'll mutate.
Benign.
Yeah.
So there's what's her name? Danica, not Danica Patrick, but there's this,
Yes, the race car driver.
yeah, no. There's this, she's an MD. There's a YouTube channel called Found My Fitness where she's talking about, these different fitness and anti-aging research. And so she's talking about how vitamin D affects the lower respiratory tract. And so they said that the people who tend to get these symptoms tend to also have a vitamin C deficiency.
The people who are you saying the people who are most susceptible to COVID-19 tend to have a vitamin C deficiency?
Vitamin D deficiency.
D,
right.
yeah. Okay.
So I've been taking my vitamin D.
Makes me feel better having a big bowl of Cheerios with milk in the morning. Hopefully my fat-free milk still has vitamin D, even though it does not say vitamin D on the carton.
It probably doesn't.
Yeah, it
No?
probably doesn't. Because milk that has vitamin D is usually fortified.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. Iodine. My dad got sick, and when he started taking the iodine supplement, he got better. So there's like a lot of stuff that's missing from. Yep, there you go. K2 plus D3. Violet knows a score.
Wait, how many Ds are there?
E3? Oh, this is cholecalciferol.
Yeah, that's the one that's supposed to be significant.
Yep.
I don't know. I've heard of D3, and there's probably other variants as well.
I've been taking vitamin D for, I think, a couple years at least.
What's good for SAD, right? Seasonal affective disorder. Just general sun depression.
I hear there's light therapy for that.
Yeah. You just get a UV light.
Well,
all right. It's 7:12. I think we should probably get going. I'm guessing we're not going to get a ton more people in here in the next few minutes, so we might as well let you guys get going. So
that's the best name, isn't it? It's like an acronym that perfectly describes the thing that it's abbreviating.
Yeah, I'm sad because I have SAD. But only occasionally. All right, welcome everyone. It's November 12th. It's another online edition of SacPy. It's good to see you all on Zoom, whether you're sharing your screen or your face or simply your handle. It's good to see you. All right, the code of conduct, a verbatim reading. Our meetup group is dedicated to providing a harassment-free community experience for everyone, regardless of gender, age, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, or religion, or lack thereof. We do not tolerate harassment of our community members in any form. Sexual language and imagery is not appropriate for any venue, including talks, workshops, parties, Twitter, Zoom, and other online media. Community members violating these rules may be sanctioned or expelled from the community at the discretion of the community organizers. So far, so good. Keep it up. All right. At this moment, we invite everyone to pull their phones out and utilize the QR code detecting feature. I think everything after ice cream on Android should do it. And basically, if you have an iPhone and you pull out the camera and point it at either of those, you will be given the option to redirect to those particular links. So the first one is the Slack. We exist within a company called SacTech's Slack channel, hashtag SacPy. You'll find me in there regularly, mostly talking to myself, mostly looking for other people to speak, so on and so forth. You will also see in the other one a link to the Discord channel in Brazen Studios. Similar to SacTech, it houses a number of other organizations, other projects. I'd be excited to see it in either of them. Is anyone still trying to get into any of the links that would like to? Does anyone not want to move on?
Oh, those QR codes seem to, they say the link is expired.
Oh, damn, I'm trolling you guys. I will post links in the Zoom real quick. Let me do that. SacPy, awesome. I should have updated that. Oh, well, what the hell?
Pre-flight checklist.
Oh, yeah. Wait, how do I edit the invite link? There we go. After 1 day, let's give it no limit. There we go. Cool. Okay, here's the pre-flight checklist. Where's my chat? Okay, here is that's the Discord one. I believe the SacTech one should work still, no? Otherwise, that's just, you know what, I think my link shortener might have gone out. Oh well, so much for the mic check, huh? All right, let's go back to sharing. Okay, all right, so I put both of those links in the chat. Anyone still trying to get in there? Does anyone not have those? All right, good enough. I will post the link to these. I'll update the slide so that the links work properly. Sorry about that. Snafu. All right, so chat with us. We're on Twitter. I occasionally will tweet things. We're on we have a subreddit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shying away from that one, not because I don't think we should have it, only because the first time we were on Zoom, I posted a link to the Zoom and we got Zoom bombed with just amazing alacrity. I think we got to the point where we were getting like dozens of people per second trying to join. It was pretty funny. There's also a Facebook group and a Facebook page for updates. If anyone has any particular interest or expertise in any of these and would like to find a way they can contribute, well, these would be ways to do so. Also, outside of these particular channels, if you've got some interesting way you want to contribute to the project, I consider SacPy just as open source as Python itself. Like all push requests welcome. All right, I'd like to honor our founder, Joshua Miller. I don't believe he's with us this evening, but he's certainly among the living. He just moved away at the beginning of the year to a role in Tennessee, and he's been to a few since he's departed. But good guy. I think he started this 3 years ago. It's either 3 or 7. There's definitely a 3 and a 7 involved somewhere. It was either 2013 or 2017. Who knows? But he's done good. Set us up with some interesting sponsors early on, and really just built a pretty cool community. I think we're coming up on 1,000 members. So thanks, Josh, wherever you are. All right, the AV stacks tonight. This is really 2 out of 3. I was going to do some stuff with OBS, and maybe Violet will, maybe James will. I guess we'll see. So wild card being OBS does that it kind of looks like a ninja blade or something like that, but I also realize it's maybe like 3 apostrophes. Just kind
What
of
a Triskelion.
Yeah. But we're streaming on YouTube. If you would like to see how this all went down, or rather would like to share it with someone in the future, we will have a link, and I will post that in both the Slack and the Discord. I'll probably also post it in the meetup group. All right, so there's some of us at some point in the past. Zoom's kind of funny, allows for some fun backgrounds. We'll do a headshot here. Might as well do it now. I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. If everyone can, I'd like to keep up with the trend of taking shots with your finest mask close at hand. So if you could take a moment and throw on your mask. I'm gonna go through real quick. I'll pin video, and then we will take some screenshots. Okay, so I got it. All right, I got me.
Yeah, mine's back at the house.
Oh, that's okay.
The other house, so.
Just like put your hand over your mouth. You'd be like, see no evil. You don't have to. Okay, John, I'm getting you right now. Wait for it. Got it. All right, Violet, you're up next. Are you happy with the angle? All right, 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right, Robert, dang, you are looking evil. I like it. Oh, there we go. The thumb nailed it. All right, who else got one? All right, Christopher, you're up next. All right, got him. Jim, I think I didn't do you yet. All right, 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right, Tanim's done it. Nice. There we go. The hand over the mouth. That's all you got to do. Nailed it. It also looks like you're being very contemplative.
Yes,
James,
yes.
James, do you happen to have one on you that?
No, it's in the car. So
okay, no worries.
I'll
just like
here,
if you can by the end of this, just like grow that beard out extra hard.
Or maybe
right,
is it long enough to fold up? No, no, that's good. That's too weird.
Got it.
You got it. Oh no.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome. Okay, does anyone else have one that wants to do one? Okay, cool. Thanks guys for playing along. I thought I updated the thing, but I've been doing a sort of
the things we do for Woody to humor him.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Hey, well, I like to think it's you know, an effort of, you know, cultivating marketing assets for SacPy. Speaking of potential assets for SacPy, we have a very distinguished gentleman by the name of James Tahala on hand, and he's going to be talking about managing cap radio funding. So I think I won't spoil the fun. I will hand it off to James. James, you ready to go?
I think so. Let's see if I can share the screen. Oh, I can't.
All right, I have stopped sharing. You're up.
Oh, I got it. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm James Tahala. I work at Cap Radio, which is your local NPR affiliate. And so I'm a studio operations tech. So what that means is I run the automation. I'm on the audio console sometimes. And then I try and fix audio issues like at the stations and stuff. So if we're off the air, you know, it might possibly be my fault. And so this is this presentation is about basically how I started automating the NPR funding credits. So what we do is we get this spreadsheet from NPR, actually 2 spreadsheets, and then we do it by show. So this is morning edition, the morning show, and it's in a schedule, and we have to get these playlist IDs, and we use these numbers. These numbers represent an audio file. So then you do that like 20 times. You put it in this spreadsheet for our hosts, and then you do that for ATC. You do it 20 more times, and then here's the key for ATC. All things considered, if you don't listen to NPR. But then you update the spreadsheet again, and then you have to do the newscast funding credits. And so it gets really crazy. And so it's just really, it's an extremely tedious process. So the problems with this, let's see, hold on. Okay, so one of the problems with this is that it's extremely boring. It just takes a good amount of time, maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. And it's just like, you're staring at numbers and they start to look the same. So because of that, it's prone to error. There's also legal ramifications. I mean, they're probably, NPR is probably not going to come after us, but we are legally obligated to air these. And so if we miss it or if we play the wrong one, there's legal implications potentially, but probably not. Another problem is NPR changes these all the time. So even if you try and do it ahead of time, by the time that we hit Friday, they're going to have probably changed it. And then the biggest thing I think is I work with a lot of talented people. And for example, like the guy that used to do this task, he's doing the current podcast, which is California State of Mind. And you can check it out at capradio.org. But it's basically, he spends hours and hours editing that podcast. So to not have this on his plate on a Friday when he's trying to get that done, it's a huge advantage. So how I solved it initially was with Pandas, because you can ingest the spreadsheet. That's one, and then you just manipulate the data how you want, and it has lots of optimization for that. What I used it for is I converted to dictionaries, so all the information's ready to use for what I needed it for, and then just output it with Excel. Output it to Excel with XLSX Writer. XLSX Writer. And I used XLSX Writer because specifically because you can format with it. So if you looked at the spreadsheet, sorry, I don't have a pop-up or anything for that, but you know how it's highlighted so that hosts can easily see it. Yeah, so that allows for formatting. So this is the conversions for the dictionaries. We start on the left. So this is the cut ID and then the cut number. And so what I did, if you notice, they're like in columns. So I just cleaned up the data, like took one set of columns, one pair of columns, then the next pair, and then just cleaned that up and put it into one dictionary. Looks something like that. Then you just take the schedule, and this is in Eastern time, so you have to use datetime and PyTZ to convert it to Pacific time. And then you output it, or you just use the dictionary in the left to convert all these cut numbers to cut IDs to cut numbers, and then you end up with something like this over here on the bottom right. So it's the date is the key, and then there's another dictionary with the time and the cut number. And so it could actually output to Excel from that. You could build a data frame and then output to Excel from that dictionary. So this is an example of formatting with XLSX Writer. I don't think it's the default engine. I think the default engine for writing is something else with Pandas. But this is the top part is the standard way to write out to Excel from Pandas. Just to Excel, and I've turned off the index and header because what happens is you can't reformat those. So what I do in this class is I just copy the header, manipulate it how I want, and then just paste it back in. So if you look at the bottom, that first method is write header. So I rewrite the header basically with different formatting. Then you can do column widths, row height, and then the highlights. Okay, so this is an example of the highlights. So basically you just do this add format method, pass it a dictionary, And then I have like some self-highlight format is just a standard formatting for all of them. And I just unpack it in the other dictionary. And then depending on if it's an insight newscast right here, or, you know, if it's a funding credit, a newscast funding credit, it'll format it depending on what row it is and the value, or basically the time. It's looking for the right time. So at the 05, it's a newscast funding credit, and then at 9:05 specifically is an insight funding credit because it's our show, our local show Insight. So then this is an example of, you could just set widths for the columns. Different columns can have different widths. You can set a range, and then you can set the row heights depending on which row. So it's, you know, it was enough for me to do all that. So, but we also, because we want it to be accessible to all our hosts, we use the Google Sheet. We use Google Sheets, a document. So it's one document. Everyone has the link bookmarked, and we just refer it. So anyone can refer it to any studio, from any studio, I should say. They can refer to it at home if they need to insert something into a spot at home. And how it works is you just pass it a list of lists. So each list in the higher list is a row, and then the cells become the cells are the next in the sub list. So just like, I think the picture explains it better than I.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I just built this list. So the first rows, this first line is just building blank rows. So yeah, it's just a list comprehension, and it just, all it does is create a certain amount of blank rows based on the row offset. So
that's a good one. List comprehensions are very powerful in Python. Does anyone not know what a list comprehension is? All right. Well, yeah, if you want to explain those, I think that's worth explaining because iterators like that are nice.
Oh, you want me to explain it?
Yeah, I mean, I could if you like, but I think you've got a handle on it. You did a nice one.
I don't know how it's just like, instead of having loop syntax, you can put it all into the you can put it all into the declaration, I guess. Is that
right?
Is that a good way to describe
so that
it?
like the first parameter within the square braces, self dot blank row, that's the function that's getting like activated every single time you go through one of the things in the for loop. I think that's maybe the main thing that threw me up when I got started with those.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the range is, you know, just a number of blank rows.
Yeah. What is the underscore? It says self.blank row for underscore.
That's just convention for, we don't care about what that variable is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dummy variable, right?
Yeah. So I'm not going to use that variable again. So just, you know, put an underscore. So because we don't need it anymore.
You're treating the underscore as any character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so when we write it, it's a day of the week. So it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then it has the actual header, which we've saved from the data frame. Well, the values. And then, you know, you rewrite it. So you append it again. And then there's another list comprehension. It's basically rewriting the data frame. Yes. Row by row. And then, so this one, the for loop is for the rows, and the appended list comprehension is for each cell in that row.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not getting yet, excuse me, where the data is coming from.
From it's a data frame, so it's built from Oh man, let's see.
I guess what's the constructor? The initialization is, I guess, a data frame, right? Of this
Yeah. So
object.
since this this is like just an output module, so I just pass the data frame to it, or it might be a dictionary. I forgot now.
So the
But
dictionary or the data frame contains data that it's receiving from some other system.
yes, so the two spreadsheets from NPR basically, but
Okay.
cleaned up.
And how are those populated?
Ooh.
What do you mean?
Well, somewhere data is flowing into this from someplace else, and then
Yeah.
data is flowing out of this to someplace else, which I think are some spreadsheets that some people are going to read instead
Yes.
of having to prepare them themselves. They just have to check.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So it comes from, oh man, it's, you can check out the repo, but there's basically a processing folder that I have two modules in, and so one is for processing one spreadsheet. Wait, is it? No, it's processing all the key value pairs for the cut ID and the cut number, and then the other module is doing time conversion for the times. What else? And it's basically using that other dictionary to replace the cut ID with the cut number, and then it comes out with a new dictionary.
Is this process sort of asynchronous or parallelized in any way, or is it fairly serial?
No, it's not asynchronous. Could you do that? Yeah, probably. But I'd have to think about where. Any other
It probably
questions?
runs so fast that it doesn't matter, right?
Okay,
Yeah, it's
well,
not. I mean it's not like I'm doing like 5,000 line spreadsheets. It's
Oh,
just.
that's tiny. I'm thinking 500 million.
Well, not that either. So. All right. So this is. Let's see.
What is the sheets there? Like, what API is that? Because that's a
Google Sheets API. It's
Yep. Yeah.
It's what Google uses for all its services that it provides. Like there's a YouTube API, contacts, Gmail API, that sort of thing. And I'm only mentioning the ones I use, but yeah, I mean, it looks very familiar to me. Exactly what you were describing there.
Yeah, they have pretty good documentation for specifically Python also. So, any other questions about this one?
I have a question.
Sure.
So you have used iter rows, and it seems that you're doing something on every row. So why you didn't use apply?
Oh, that because I don't know pandas that well. Is
Oh,
apply?
right.
Can you do that with apply?
I mean, I have never used iter rows. I have always, every time I wanted to do something on each row, I used apply. And this is the first time I see iter rows.
Yeah.
Well, so actually, I'm not. I guess
you're not modifying the data frame.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
you're
I'm basically
operating.
copying the data frame row by row into a list so that I can send it to the Google Sheets API.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. Okay. All right. So this is just updating okay. This is actually sending it to the sheet. So this value range body. Say again.
It's a service. It's the way I think that Google's APIs work is you define a service, that service operates on this structure, and then you have an execute at the end to say, Google, do the thing I wanted you to do on that thing I wanted you to do it on.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that declaration is not in this method right here.
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
So, but I'm not going to put the whole program into slides. So this value range body, that's the list. of all the rows that we just appended to the list of rows. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. And then another factor is changing the value or changing the name based on the what week it is. So that was just something that they had. So I just decided to change it also, update it automatically because, we're doing all this other stuff. Yeah, and it's using batch update.
Okay.
And then ta-da, it's all done. So what's nice about this is once the formatting is done, you notice I didn't have any formatting methods. It was just straight write the data, because once you format these, as long as they hit the same cell, which they will all the time, because we need the same times every time we run this, we need the same times for that'll be outputted to this spreadsheet. Then the formatting stays the same and it just writes the actual value and it keeps the formatting. So that's kind of nice. I didn't have to mess with the formatting at all. Programmatically anyway. And then that was a big leap forward, actually. I got kudos for that already, but you want to be able to just download the spreadsheets automatically also. So for that, I used Helium, and Helium is basically just a Selenium wrapper.
Oh.
Yeah, it also simplifies the API. So we'll go into the syntax a little bit, but
Okay.
I like it because it was so much easier to just get started with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of boilerplate in my experience with Selenium. It's just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess the only problem is, well, no, I'll get to that. But so the target site is nprstations.org. It's a cold fusion site. So I had some problems like scraping with other ways, like requests in Beautiful Soup, because you have to log into it. Let's see. Yeah, there it is.
They're not nice enough to give you an API, right?
No. Well, not yet. Maybe if I ask them nicely.
I know it's NPR 1 they're not going to update their API to do what developer.npr.org used to do. But I made my peace with that.
All right. So with Helium, we'll log in. Let's see. We'll find the appropriate links for the input spreadsheets and then download them. So that's our goal here. All right. So this is an example of the Helium syntax. Let's see. Yeah. So it's a, you don't have to instantiate a web driver. It's just start Chrome and then pass it the login page. And you could do things like this he.write. And then you pass it, you write it into username. So it's just referencing that, see that username field there? That's all it's referencing. So you just pass it the text and it finds it. And it does that a lot of times. I've sent tabs here because I couldn't find, and actually there's an extra tab, probably don't need that because the next one is targeted. But I sent a tab because I couldn't get to this password field by just saying write into password. So, it has some limitations, but the nice thing about Helium is that if you want to go to the underlying Selenium methods, you can by using get driver. So this get driver method just returns the Selenium WebDriver, and then you can do what you need from there. Yep. Okay. All right. So here's some challenges I had scraping. One, it didn't work headless. So it does pop up and you see it on screen. I mean, it's not a big deal because I'm running this on my own machine anyway, so it's not like people are going to see it. Another one is I couldn't just copy the link and then save it to a location. I know there's just from Stack Overflow, there's some way to do it, maybe in Selenium itself with if you set options or something like that. But yeah, I didn't find a way to do that. So if anyone, yeah, so right now what I'm doing is just allowing Chrome to download it to the default folder and then just move it with Shutil, however you pronounce that library. Yeah, so if anyone has any ideas on that, that'll be good. So then I got kudos for that. I was in a meeting and, one of the managers said, wow, that's great. Now don't ever get sick or go on vacation. So what's funny is that a week after that, I took the day off and I went out with my wife and, I had to I was like, oh crap, I have to do the NPR funding credits. So I found a Starbucks, I logged in with the VPN and then just like fired the script and then updated the funding credits. But it's, I don't want to have to do that every time. So I went to Slack. So I used this legacy API just because, well, that's the first one I found. So, and I'm kind of new at this. So, yeah, so I chose Slack because Slack is used by everyone at Cap Radio almost. I think there's like one guy who isn't using Slack there, especially during the pandemic, So it has an API. That's another thing. And it has a library for Python that you can pip install. So it's pretty easy to get started. And then once you set it up, it's easy for people to use. It's like you just talk to a bot. And then you can trigger it from anywhere. You can trigger it from your computer. You can trigger it from your phone. And how I'll probably use it is I'll have a private operations only Slack channel, and then just invite the bot to that channel only. Just so we don't have 20 people like triggering the, some other person just does it for no reason.
And how is the Slack API related to the spreadsheet solution?
It's what triggers the spreadsheets. So instead of me having to manually run it from the command line exactly when they need it, they can just send a message to the bot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the bot triggers it.
Yeah, it's UI.
If you're agent,
yes. Yeah, the user interface.
Yeah.
It's an event-driven architecture, maybe.
So of note here is, so usually in the documentation it said to use this RTM client.run on event equals message for your message handler. But this is within a class. So the problem I ran into is you can't just plug that specific decorator onto the method. And this is the way I've found to do it up top. This I'm you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's passing the method to the decorator, which is what decorators do. Is that correct? Sorry.
I couldn't comment on that one. Yeah. I think I'm maybe not that Python.
Yeah, let's just launch a Python debugger and go through it,
It looks like it's adding it as a listener.
Yeah, it's I think that's that's probably correct. Yeah, it just passes the method, it does some extra stuff, runs the method, and then returns whatever, I think. Okay, anyway, that's how you decorate inside a class, I've learned.
Okay.
And then we have a guard clause. So if you're not this self bot ID text, not in raw message, then basically it's saying if you're not addressing the bot directly, then don't run. It'll just return out of the method. Because it does hear everything that's in the channel that it's in. So you can potentially get all of the messages in that channel. So message word set. Oh yeah. So then I took the messages, split it, use the string methods to split and then make it a set. And then you compare it with a set of these trigger strings. So if there's an intersection between them, then you start running these external methods or external functions, I should say, because they're not attached to a class. And then you just send a message that you've completed it.
Okay.
Yeah. So sets. I don't know if should I go into sets a little bit. It's nice for. So sets will eliminate duplicates, and then it also has methods for comparing to another set. So this intersection method it's just if any of them match each other, then it's true.
Well, that's interesting. I just use the AND operation. If message word set, is that set? Or is that list or any kind of iterable?
For intersection?
Yeah.
It's specifically with sets.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just used to like the C world, so I use and or minuses. But yeah, I guess this works too.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope. Yeah. Okay. Then it just sends a confirmation message. Okay. So tying it all together, this is my run.py. This is like the entry point for the entire program. So I just have flags for testing and, running the bot and then doing a normal command line run. And then these two methods, it just, that basically summarizes what within download input files is just the Helium stuff. So downloading the files and then moving them into the working directory. And then write is just writing to, so it actually within write is also processing. So it processes the data frame that it gets from the files, and then it also writes it. And then these, let's see. Okay, yeah. And then just in my settings folder, I have actually this I could probably use a set also. Because I'm just comparing if this list of triggers is in the arguments passed, which could be a set also. But this is in the settings, so it just reads it and then it reads the arguments, and then it's this Boolean on the left is just re-imported into, or it's imported into run.py, so the entry point.
I guess you could do some kind of any, in the functional paradigm space. It's, just if any, something like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd have to look into that more.
But yeah, it works, and there's not a lot that goes on, so you don't have to worry about performance, and it's clear.
Good. Anything else? Let's see. And okay, yeah, and then we'll go the live demo now. So just cross your fingers. Hopefully it works. Okay, everyone seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Drum roll.
Let's see. Let me pull up the spreadsheet. So
here we go.
Okay. All right. So we're going to delete that. And then run it. Oh, no. Oh, you know what? Oh, I didn't start the virtual environment.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Okay. Browser's firing up. Logging in really fast.
That was an automated login, but it was not headless, like you said.
Yeah. Headless hasn't been working, so. Bam, it appeared. So there it goes.
All right. Awesome,
All
man.
right.
All right.
Wait, so it's working now? Can you open the Slack? Can we see it
Yes.
from
So
there?
that's the next part. So we'll start the Slack
Okay.
bot. Run bot.
Hey.
Okay, there we go. And there we go. Our ops bot sent a message saying I can update NPR funding credits. So we'll try funding by itself. Funding. Doesn't do anything because, you know, it's looking for that trigger string and it's waiting to be addressed directly. So ops bot funding. All right, there we go. So then it just does the same process.
That is way cool.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
So this is data from a system like some type of accounting system or something like that, and it's producing some sort of business report for somebody who needs to see things like a financial report for their show or something like that. Is that a characterization of what you did?
No, well, I'm not exactly sure why NPR structures it like that, because they put a bunch of information there, and that probably makes sense to them internally. But all we need is the numbers and then what's the other thing? Oh, the time and the day. So basically it just strips out all of that. And how they've done it too, if you're doing it manually, it sucks more because you have to like look at this reference sheet to decode what's happening on the actual spreadsheet schedule. So it just gets, I mean, there's so many points where, you know, a human could fail. So it's just better automating all of it, I think. Anyway.
So could you use voice synthesis to create those kind of monotone messages for what the
probably, I guess. Or maybe have like a what is it, an Alexa skill or something, so you don't have to touch a keyboard.
Funding for this program was provided by.
Oh, you mean like a robotic voice that reads the script?
Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah, I mean, you've got access to a lot of great voice actors, or at least radio voices. You know, get a handful of them. I'm Ira Flato.
All right, so that's it. Let's see. There we go. The live demo actually worked, so that's good. And there's my info. And I'll just share the slides later, I guess. So.
Yeah, I downloaded the PDF. Is it okay if I put it in the Slack and the Discord?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, will do. Great.
Sweet.
All right, questions for Mr. Tejada beyond what we've already covered? Cool. Well, I'm glad everyone feels comfortable to speak up in the moment. That's the nice part about Zoom. We're all meeting on the head of a pin. Well, James, thank you so much for your time. This was amazing. I think this is like one of those hilarious examples of literally automating the boring stuff.
Yes.
But it's also this funny thing. We're always up against this, I think, when we're creating these automations. You're up against people that seem to think that like, oh, well, now that you've created this thing, we need you to not ever die or sleep or blink or anything human like whatsoever, because like that is in fact the point of working with computers and not just making this thing self-service. And that's exactly what you did. This is great. Now other people they input the commands, right? Like they're the ones calling it, or is it you calling it for them? Like, does someone say, hey, report or whatever?
Well,
no, with the Slack bot, I mean, anyone can do it. So
I guess the only thing is the Slack bot has to be running, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so if when I take off for vacation, I'll just start it. That's my plan anyway.
There you go.
We'll just put it on the server. Do you need a server space? I'll happily like spin some space up for Cap Radio. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, you guys are always taking contributions monetarily. Why not take some in kind?
Cap Radio has its own servers, doesn't it? Don't they?
Oh, you know what? I haven't talked too much to the web guys. Well, not about their deployment, but I mean,
you want to blurb for SacPy on Cap Radio? These resources have been generously provided.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you want to do a trade? Actually, that might be
absolutely.
That might be a thing we could do.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't even offering to charge you. I was more like, hey, just like feather in my cap. But yeah, totally. Let's work something out. I'd love to like learn something about how to actually present a professional broadcast. I'm just using Zoom.
Yeah.
So, I guess, have you thought of trying your deployed solution on different operating systems? I'm wondering if
it's like Linux, you mean?
Linux, if the headless issue goes away there, I'm not sure.
So I actually developed all of this in Linux, in Ubuntu.
Okay.
On WSL, the subsystem, the Windows subsystem.
Right.
But then I wanted to do the scraping part, and then I just hit a roadblock. So it just converted. It wasn't too bad because I used pathlib, so I just converted everything to Windows.
I was just wondering if did you still have the headless issue on Linux, or it started to appear once stuff moved to Windows?
So I didn't test it on an actual Linux machine, just on Linux subsystem.
Okay, it's just a thought because the non-headless nature might get kind of unwieldy, and it would be nice if you could just have it in a tmux session, right, or a screen session where everything lives and runs, and so you don't have to worry about X or any kind of thing popping up. It's just a way to save even more resources than before.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I could try. Actually, I could try it at home here. Just try messing around with Selenium on Linux.
Or it might be that goofy ass website.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It seems like they have some things that are anti-scraping, so I don't know.
And you're being an actual employee of NPR, an NPR affiliate, is not enough pull to.
Can we stop recording now? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll edit that out. But also, like, hey, NPR head honchos, this guy is doing phenomenal work for you.
Yeah.
It stands to reason that he at least deserves access to the API. You've got him scraping. Come on, you've got the data. This is amazing. All right, anything else for James before we move on to Violet? We're almost at we're just past 8 o'clock.
No, thanks.
All right. Well,
great.
That was great.
super
I
awesome.
Totally agree.
Good, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to kick you off screen sharing. Oh, he did it himself. What a gentleman. Okay, let's see. Back to our thing. All right, so next up, we're going to continue the conversation of bots, this time with the more recent addition to the group chat conversation, Discord. Discord, as you guys may know from the beginning of this meeting, is one of the other places that SacPy resides. Discord is basically Slack, but what they opted to do as a core feature was throw voice channels in there. And for my money, in COVID, Discord has been the hands down winner for me in terms of entertainment. In terms of functionality, well, Zoom, definitely. But Violet is going to be talking about a Discord bot she made. What was it, VLS 01 or something like that?
Yes.
She'll tell you in a moment. Yeah, feel us. All right, cool. But Violet and I met at Sierra College just last year. No, this year. Beginning of this year, we were taking a C language class, and Violet, I have to say, you are like the most quintessential case of imposter syndrome. Violet here finished the curriculum for a C language class in like 2 weeks, and then proceeded to also be the person that would show up and continue to help her classmates. And in that behavior, I recognized an excellent individual, and I'm really happy to present Violet Eldridge and her work with Discord bot. So, Violet, take it away.
Thank you.
Stop share. There you go.
Thank you. Too kind. Let me see if I can share my screen. Something that we did not test out in advance. Let's see.
Oh no, mic check fail.
Can I share this whole screen? Oh, basic, advanced, files. No, that's not it. Basic.
Sometimes there's screens, sometimes there's windows. Everyone should have the option to, yeah, James should share. All right, we'll get there. All right, so in the meantime, hey, Robert, I think this is a good time for you to introduce yourself. Now, Robert has come on as the co-host in
I'll be right back.
the past 2 months. Okay, yeah, take your time. We're going to introduce Dr. Flask himself, producer of the venerable Accelerator Cloud.
That's right.
Robert and I, we spend a good amount of our times on Zoom, a good amount of our time each week on Zoom. Monday, we run what we call our Skunk Works meeting. Tuesday and Thursday, we do pair programming. And until recently, we were both on all hands for a startup called American River Gold that is doing some pretty clever stuff with credit cards. I still kind of advise on that project, but I look forward, if nothing else, to Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, because we have a good time just talking shop. And we get stuff done sometimes. Other times we just sort of discover new problems. And if nothing else, like the coolest part about this is like, I could recognize this guy's voice from anywhere. And I've seen him, what, 3 times or something? But before, all right, it looks like Violet's up, but if you want to take a moment to introduce yourself, just to say hi. Robert's going to be presenting next month, so you'll get to see him in full form then. But yeah, why don't you say like a thing or two about yourself?
Me?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been
Robert,
into programming. I started off with doing Delphi development back in the 90s. For about 10 years, I did test automation using Ruby. And now I've moved into web development, and I love it. I love developing with Python and learning what's possible. I enjoy the opportunity to learn from the other people in this group as well. And I guess that's a good introduction point for Violet.
Absolutely. I've learned so much from Violet, and I can't wait to learn more. Show us how Discord bots should be done, Violet.
Sure. Can you see my Discord screen?
Yep.
Let's see.
I like your Discord channel groupings. Can you only put 4 in one?
No, you can put more. See, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Whoa. Violet has maximized Discord. I like it. I also like that you put me in with all the letter things. P.
Oh, the PPB.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
so let's see if I could figure out how to share the code. Here we go. Can you see my bot.py file?
I can.
Oh, I can see that I can see it on my other screen. Cool.
Yeah, I can see it.
So I'll start from the code here. So what I really want to do Oh, should I talk about myself a bit first?
Yes, by all means.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's see. I worked in industry as a software engineer at a startup called Car Jojo for 4 years. I was there from within a few months of it starting to the day that it shut down. 4 years, 4 years and a couple of months later. And I'm hearing slight echo, but I think that's probably on my side. So uh, I I also graduated from University San Jose State in the Bay Area in May of this year. I took my last class as Woody said at Sierra College, and I transferred over my last units, got my degree. I've been working on it for 11 years because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I started, but once I caught the computer science bug, I knew exactly which degree to get. So so I worked in industry as a software engineer, and during that time, I got really into machine learning. I had this service that I really kept up with machine learning on called Prismatic News. I don't know if anybody knows about it. It was really awesome. I'm very disappointed that it shut down because I feel like I owe a lot of my success and passion to it because it's what allowed me to keep up on new things and to just have these really incredible conversations about machine learning before I ever touched a single line of code. And also, one of the great things about Prismatic News was that it allowed you to like upvote and downvote articles based on your interests. And as opposed to Apple News or Google News, where it splits out everything out by category, it just cared about what topics you like, and it shows you things even that combine those topics. So I found myself really gravitating towards cybersecurity, and now I'm working on trying to get into a cybersecurity uh, career, and am currently interviewing at 2 different places that are cybersecurity adjacent. One is a startup in Portland, and the other is a uh, recently profitable company in Emeryville near Oakland. So I'm very excited about moving all this forward. I've been working on the job search for a few months now, but in the meantime, I'm doing like fun projects like this Discord bot here. I've always wanted something like a Discord bot. Really, what I imagine is someday having like Google Glass or some kind of AR where instead of just a bot where you type text to it, like being able to talk to it, interact with it, having it be able to show you things that are around you. So like one of my things is I have really terrible memory, but I've managed to work out some really extensive like organizational systems uh, to accommodate that. And this is really another part of that. They all these little projects kind of come together, work together, and I imagine this assistant that really helps in every part of life. Like, just imagine if you're driving home from work, eh, assuming that you'd still do that, and you're I see some laughter. And you're driving past the grocery store, and then like before you get there, like far enough in advance while you still have a chance to pull off to the grocery store, it says, "Hey, by the way, you need mushrooms. Do you feel like getting mushrooms right now?" And they say, "You know what? We have enough food to last us. I don't really need mushrooms badly enough to stop, so I'm just gonna skip that for today. Just let me know next time." And then like you're at home and you're sitting down, and all of a sudden like you look around behind you, and it's like, oh yeah, I had to do that one thing like that I forgot about, and then so you go do it. So anyways, I just always have for years, like at least since 2017, 16 or longer, I've been imagining just this combination of like bot, machine learning, uh, trying to automatically prioritize your tasks, NLP, audio input, just all these different things, bringing them all together into this one comprehensive assistant that just really like understands your personal needs and tries to help you be really efficient. So this is really, I started 7 days ago on the spot. This is really just a tiny piece. I have, other personal systems that I've had for years, and I don't know, it just clicked, and it was like, oh yeah, I can write a Discord bot. So here we are today. I've been working on this for 7 days, and like not constantly because I have been busy with other stuff, but I've had a lot of fun. Like I told Woody, hey, I just made a Discord bot, and he said, you want to present in 6 days? And I said, sure. So yeah, I've put some work into it since then to make sure that I actually have something to show off rather than just it says hello when you say hello. So here we go. Does anybody have any questions, or should I just go into it?
Why don't you start off by telling us what it will do, and then you can go through the code.
Sure. What it will do. Okay. I just implemented the very first. I think it might have actually been like the 10 minutes before this meeting started, but a to-do functionality. I've always like tried to come up with different ways of keeping tracks of to-do tasks, and I just implemented a very preliminary stage. Ideally, it will be running off of a database. Right now, just to get it up and running, it's running off of a file on the local file system. You can add a task and then list the existing tasks. Since I literally just did it, it has no functionality for deletion or prioritization or anything. But let's see what else. I earlier today I implemented a weather. Oh, you can't see it on my screen. So I don't know if you can see it on my screen right now, but earlier today I implemented this weather functionality. So it does weather. Another couple of features I had in mind were to check. So I would like to install this bot on multiple servers and to be able to have each client respond in tandem or together. And so I'd like to be able to do some system health checks like CPU, RAM. Let me know about any things that's going on. Also, something that I've had in the past is like checking air quality index. For quite some time I was like logging that to a file, like downloading images of the current air quality index map. So just like, I don't know, just all these teeny tiny little things that come together to be really convenient that like, wow, how did I do without this? So like anytime you come with all these little ideas and just, yeah, let's just stick it on my bot. Why not just breathe life into it?
So you made this more efficient, so it now only sends 2 messages per request instead of 12?
Oh yeah. So what this does is it uses this, let me pull it up. So it calls from this website, which is really a nice, very nice website. I have to share my Firefox. I think you're seeing the wrong screen. Let's see. Firefox. I have too many windows open. Yeah, I think you're seeing my wrong screen. Oh, there we go. So there's this website. It looks really terrible because the text is all black. If you call it from the command line, it's all pretty colorized. But can you kind of see it? This
Yeah.
sunny. It's okay. Maybe I should. Let's see. Share my other screen. I wish I could just share the whole screen. And here we go. You're probably seeing my terminal now. Okay, so if you call this, it's very nice and colorized. So what I did was I pulled out all this data. And then using Pandas, or Python NumPy, I extract each of these little boxes. All these 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3, so 12 different boxes. I extract them all out, and let's go back to, and then so you see we have all the different little boxes, and I posted on the top today morning, today noon, today evening. And so originally what I was doing is putting each box in its own box. So we see this timestamp. I don't know. Hopefully you can see it.
Yeah.
The timestamp is here. The timestamp is here. Timestamp is like on every single message or each box. But that I'm worried about like running into rate limits on sending with the bot. And there's also a delay when it's sending. So it's like, oh, 3 messages and then so it's like there's some kind of rate limiting. So I said, why not just do this little checking to slightly more efficiently. So once I extract the box here and then create like a current window and keep posting boxes on the window until it hits, until just before it hits the maximum message size, which is 2000, and then send it, and then construct the next window and then send it.
Okay.
That way it's automatically determining the right size.
Okay.
And then I always like to give credit where credit is due. So I mention the person who wrote it and the website. So one thing I want to mention here is if we go back to the output and then I do a little help message, this help is automatically built into the discord.py library. So you can't override it. If you try to override it, it'll complain at you. But I've split all the main sections of commands into all these different sections. So I have admin, Qt, information, random, utilities. So these are all the things it does so far. So let's start off with Qt because that's the easiest. So say do teleporting to the moon, and you see it does this in Discord. You have this italics to indicate that an action is happening. I believe that's the same as or similar to the original IRC /me. So /me jumping up and down. So you see /me some kind of action. And once you return it, it turns it into italics. So I basically just made the bot imitate that behavior. So that's a cute little thing. And then greet is this say greet Bob? So hello Bob, and then say what's going on, and it imitates it. And then I also, for the heck of it, I put in some profanity filters. I put in a little list, and instead of just completely erasing profanity, I filter it out and replace it with some fun like symbols off the top row of the shift 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing.
So which Discord framework are you using for this?
Oh yes, so there is in my code, I put a link to the Discord PY, what's that called? Documentation. Let me pull it up. Well, this is a documentation page, but hopefully you can see that now. Yes, I think so. So this is the frequently asked. Let's see if we go to the main page. So Discord has its own library here. And I installed it using pip. I wanted to install it using conda, but I think it's not in conda, so I had to use pip.
So for a while, I think there was an issue about whether or not it worked with Python 3, right? And this one works perfectly with like Python 3.6 and later, right?
I am using Python 3, and it is working for me. I'd have to look up specifically more details. I did notice an API change since one of the tutorials I was using. I basically followed a tutorial to start off, and then from there I was able to add more features of my own. But I did notice there was a big glaring issue, which is if you have the bot intercept messages to be able to check the like the content of every single message that it has permission to view. It used to be that it would automatically then process any commands that were in that message, but now you have to add a little message at the end of the on message handler to make it to forcibly make it handle commands. So there were API changes from the tutorial I used.
That's good to know. So this is just regular discord.py. There's like no other like, because I think I saw one where it's like, it also said like it supports voice. There's like 2 different branches.
Oh. I did see something about voice, but I'm not doing anything with voice currently.
Okay, cool.
It definitely has a lot of capability for doing administrative tasks like banning and kicking. I haven't used those at all, but I did implement a functionality. The entire admin section of commands, I implemented something that allows it so that only I can run those commands. I can definitely add more people onto it, but for now, I wanted to make sure that nobody else is abusing those commands early on in its development.
Awesome.
May I ask a brief question here, just for background for some of us who, is Discord a free service?
Yes. So they do have a monetization plan, but it is very fully functional for free.
Yeah, anyone can get an account for free.
It's very impressive how much they provide for free.
Okay, I'll save the question follow up for an appropriate point in your talk.
Okay, this is a little bit more conversational. I'm not sure if I have anything more. Oh yeah, sorry. I was going through some steps. So if I go back to demonstrating it, so we have some more commands here. So I showed off the weather command already. It's for a given zip code. Of course, did input handling. I made sure that it's a 5-digit number so that people aren't trying to exploit the bot or the website that the bot uses. I threw in these random quotes. So we've got, I don't know if anybody knows Dr. House, so I'll probably skip that, but Magic 8 Ball, like, will I win the lottery? It doesn't really matter what you type here. It's only caring about the M8. And it's like, it is certain. Oh, great. I don't play the lottery, so I don't think I can win. And then we've got Star Wars SW. Chewie, we're home, Han Solo. So just threw in some cutesy little things in there. And then something I also wanted to make sure is in there is a suggestion. So if someone points in here and says suggest, I want a feature that checks, I don't know, maybe look up sports stats. I don't know. Just then I immediately, the bot messages me directly and it tells me who sent the message.
Huh.
So even if I can't tell who messaged the bot and where, like by me seeing in the server, because maybe I'm ignoring that channel that they're talking in, or maybe somebody sends the bot a message directly, I still know who sent it and what they said.
So it's echoing back which user sent which command.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I have, I think my window is gone, but I restarted earlier and I have another Discord account that I was using for testing. So I was sending a message directly. Yeah, it's asking me to type my password. Okay. And then, so if I go on and message this bot from my other account, which my second name is also Violet, so but hopefully my account image is, different. So you can tell that So suggest do some cool stuff. And then I get a message from my other account that's, oops, it looks like I have a bug in there that's sending it to me twice. But basically this, my other account with, you can tell that's different because it's a different user icon, is suggesting something.
Now, does the bot live somewhere that is it running on your own machine?
Currently,
and hooking to the...
yeah, currently it is running on my own machine. I have a server box over there that I want to put it on as well. Right now, whenever I put my computer to sleep, the bot goes quiet. And it would be really nice to have it always listening so that I can use it like when I'm not at home.
Is it just an executable or something else?
So it's Python. So we've got, let me pull up my Python code again. So actually, just for demonstration purpose, let's see. We look at my, I think you can see my terminal. I'll make it bigger so you can see it.
There it is. There it is, right?
I'll try to see if I can shut it down. Okay, there. So it's shut down.
Cool.
And it's literally just, so I have a Conda environment. On the left side, you see here where it says Discord in parentheses. It's telling me which Conda environment I'm using. And list. Let's see. Oops, I think that's okay. Conda end list will tell me which my environments are. And you see Discord is right here. It's currently highlighted. And so that's telling it to use the correct which Python.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So then when I list my bot, I made it executable for the, looks like my permissions are a bit off, really only owner needs execute permissions, but so I can run it directly. And if you head -1 bot.py, see you've got the hash bang telling it to use Python. So bot.py, and then it starts up. And once it connects to the server, it I have it just say it's connected.
And you mentioned it sort of goes to sleep, or when your machine goes to sleep, right?
Well, so it's basically just, I mean, when I sleep my computer, it just halts execution. So the moment that I open it back up, it automatically tries to reconnect and says this just connected to the server message again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you could install this on a piece of cloud on a cloud VPS.
Yeah. Something persistent, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that won't ever go to sleep.
Right. Ideally.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun little project I was doing.
Yeah. This is interesting, Violet. I've built a bot on Telegram. This seems pretty similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I run some equipment, or you just send commands and it looks at status, it turns things on and off. So it's fun. This is good.
I noticed this uses decorators the same way that Flask uses decorators for the routes, right?
Yeah.
You've got like the bot event, and so it'd be.
Yeah.
Then you're also using the async commands because it's asynchronous. That would be an interesting topic for for another presentation. Would be how some of these kind of advanced Python features are being utilized by the framework.
Decorators are definitely cool. Oh yeah, there is also one additional thing here. I commented it out because it was getting annoying, but basically being able to run a task every so often.
Recurrent tasks.
That's another thing that the Discord API supports.
Oh,
So for example, like if you're, I also built myself a Twitch bot, which doesn't do much. This Discord bot has a lot more functionality than my Twitch bot does, but basically being able to every once in a while and say, hey, welcome to my my Twitch stream. Here's the link to my Twitter or whatever. Just letting the new users know occasionally about something.
Well, that's awesome. I think it's really cool, both what you have done with Discord and what James has done with Slack, because there's such natural interfaces in the most unnatural sense, but natural in the sense that that's sort of how we exist these days. I think Elon Musk calls it the tertiary layer, our digital representation of ourselves. We exist as avatars. At best, maybe we are video streams that are, you know, headshots, sort of talking heads of ourselves. Like right now, I am not wearing pants, and you don't know that, except that I told you. But basically, you know, like how we represent ourselves is now we're down to like postage stamps. I believe some ornery professor was like, I'm used to seeing you in an auditorium, but now all I have is a big screen full of postage stamps.
Although technically speaking, the students are far enough away that they're postage stamp sized in his field of view.
Exactly. So if we can meet on the head of a pin at this point, because what matters is we can get it together, and we're standing on the shoulders of giants that have made it possible to get it together, namely Zoom and Google Hangouts, and I mean Skype before all that, and now Discord's doing some cool stuff. And I don't know if anyone's heard of this thing called Remo, and then there's a whole bunch of other ones. There's just a million ways that we can bring it all together without having to burn some carbon to do it. And then to just add that interface at the level of everyone uses Slack if they work in business. Everyone uses Discord if they play video games. Why not have a little bot friend that gives you that info you're looking for anyway? Is it raining? Yeah, of course I want to get my results in ASCII.
Now we just need a quaternary layer. Have the bots talk to each other. And then
yeah. Well, isn't that how that?
There you go.
Isn't that how that movie Her ended? Where it was like, you're just becoming too slow for us, so we're gonna have to move on.
Like in Her.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah,
it was a good movie.
A great movie.
So Woody, and all I have a question that as somebody that doesn't work in the industry and just kind of does this as a hobby, where do you hear about things like Helium and Pandas? And I learned a lot tonight, just these different modules that you can use. So where do you find the information?
What? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I learned it on the street, you know. It's basically in the course of my work. Oh yeah, this thing. Oh, I see this bit of code I've never seen before, and I play around with it, and if it's useful, I just incorporate it into whatever work I'm doing. That's how I learned about Pandas and Matplotlib before that. And yeah, and Flask too. It's like, I thought it would be nice to start automating some stuff or learn about web programming. And I know some Python, so I just searched on the web, and that's, for instance, how I learned about Flask. But it's always great, of course, to have these things to go to, so to introduce me to stuff that I wouldn't, or at least as easily, find out on my own.
So for me, it was actually, I don't know if you listened to Python Bytes, that podcast. but it's basically a podcast with like Python headlines in about 20 minutes or so. So I usually go pick up the kids from their grandparents, and I can't have like, you know, a podcast with profanity or something. So I just play Python bytes on the road, and then
It's
I
got the
just learn
same.
about
It's got the same vibe as NPR, right?
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. Just the soft talking and, you know, all of that. But yeah,
So
that's pretty much my main way personally.
And your
You
kids will
know-
be future Python coders.
Yeah. Actually, my daughter is saying Python bytes now. So
Yeah, it helps me to start with a problem and then figure out how to solve it. That's the thing that's caused me to learn all sorts of different things. Woody and I were exchanging something at some point earlier about how we got into Python, and I got into it because I needed to solve a problem. I was teaching and I was doing some research, and I wanted to be able to measure some things, and the equipment that we had available, actually, we had the hardware, we just didn't have the signal processing system. And so I had to develop a signal processing system. And that involved engaging someone to help me learn about it. And then we realized that we could develop a Python program. And then I'm neck deep in Python, doing all this signal processing math stuff that, you know, now 10 years later, we're sitting here having this conversation in a group of Python geeks, when 10 years ago I was the Python geek with the fast Fourier transform on some cardiology data. The product's like a snowball, you know. You one moment you're one person in one life, and then you get pulled into things, and it's not this bot anymore. It's this bot to the 89th power.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy with the pairing of our speakers tonight for exactly that fact. Discord and Slack, I think, are the primary communication channels of really two generations. And Slack is the millennials, Discord is the Zoomers. And I challenge all of you to straddle both of those territories, because I found some amazing friends in both, and that we can pair it up with the thing that can do the boring stuff, do it at breakneck speed. It's amazing. All right, before we close this thing out and just go to general mingling, anyone want to ask anything more of Violet? Cool. All right, let's get back.
Oh, sorry, I had one question.
Sure.
I didn't see the whole thing. I had to step out for a little bit. But are you going to start using like your NLP experience with your bot?
So in terms of actually processing what people are saying and then trying to respond with that, I don't have any specific plans. What I was thinking of doing is hooking it up to a pre-trained Doc2Vec and be able to run Doc2Vec commands. I don't know if you know about Doc2Vec.
No, sorry.
Okay, so Doc2Vec.
Something about wait, can I guess? It's like you take a picture and create a vector image. Wait, all right, fill in the actual image.
Okay. Or actually, okay, so I'll mention Word2Vec. Doc2Vec is a little bit more complicated, but Word2Vec I really like. It's one of the first and machine learning algorithms that with I believe with like deep learning or backwards propagation or something that really impressed me. So it takes unsupervised textual input, just text with like words, a corpus of data, and it splits up by words, and then it looks at where those words are in relation to each other. And then it does some backwards learning, and it starts to understand relationships between words. And then the result is this. So like long before that, if you have a dictionary, of words you're trying to understand in the computer, say you have a very fixed size of, say, 10,000 words, and you can't learn any more words than that, and your vectors are huge. It's just all these zeros and then a single one. For each word, you have all these zeros and a single one. It's using up all this space. Like, I guess you're doing all right if you're using sparse input, but there's no relationship between something that has a one in the first index and something that has a one in the second index. But by using word2vec, what you do is you used a fixed sized vector, usually somewhere around 100, 200, or 300 inputs. And then by using, I believe it's backpropagation and neural networks, if I remember correctly, and then looking at where words are in relations to each other. There's two different main methods. I remember one of them is called bag of words. I don't remember the name of the other one, but the other one is more preferable for a better understanding of relationships of words. But once it's done, you're able to have these vectors in this high dimensional space, however many entries in your vector or arrays, and then you can run some basic mathematics on these arrays, and say, for example, okay, I want the arrays that represent king, man, and woman, and then you say, okay, so what's king minus man plus woman? It's going to spit out queen. And this is demonstrated, and it's very impressive, just amazing. So it's understanding, like, if you use principal component analysis and drop down the dimensionality from, in the hundreds down to 3 dimensions, and then you plot these on a 3-dimensional graph, you will see this relatively or clear, like, relationship. It's like a square. You've got these points, and so one, this minus this, so you're taking this and then you're saying plus this dot over here, so you're saying take this and put it over here, so it's like do, and you get queen, and it's very impressive. And I believe it was a very early, and as far as I'm concerned, it's like a breakthrough in unsupervised learning. And when it comes to some of the newer models that use bidirectional LSTMs, I believe it's BERT, and being able to create these word embeddings, but to be able to understand the word in context. So if you say the king won with his king high, the first king is a person, whereas the second king is a playing card. And so the original word2vec doesn't understand the distinction, whereas this newer model, BERT, it understands the distinction, and it's just incredible what they've managed to do, where they've managed to take this technology. So anyways, I don't specifically know how to, like, process inputs, do something to it, and give some response. Like, I know there's generative models where you give it some words at the beginning, and then it just spits out more stuff. And then there's also models that allow you to actually generate responses, but I don't have any specific experience with that. I'm just aware of it a little bit. Hope that answered the questions.
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
All right. Well, anyone else? Cool. All right. Well, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, speakers, and attendees. On the sponsor end, we've got the San Francisco Bay Area Python allows us to use their Zoom channel. James and Violet, as well as Robert, thank you so much for speaking tonight and laying it all on us. I think there's a bright future ahead for bots. And thanks for everyone who showed up and is still here. I don't think I've seen 15 participants at 8:49 p.m. before. I wish we could get analytics on this. Maybe Zoom could help us. But that, I think, says volumes for our speakers.
Yep, very worth. very worthwhile content tonight.
Yeah, the speakers are great,
Definitely.
but it's also the community.
I want to
Yeah,
say
the comments are great.
thank you all so much. I had a lot of fun talking to you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Violet.
Appreciate it.
All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Night, folks.
night, folks. Robert is going to be up next month. If you guys want to speak, I'm sure this QR code doesn't work, so whatever. If you want to speak, talk in one of the chats. We'll find you. Same thing. Bullshit. Announcements. Is there anyone that would like to announce anything before we lose everyone? We're at 13 participants, so speak now or
But
forever.
I have
Just
an
hold your
administrative
peace.
question.
Thanks.
Yes.
I saw the link to the Slack channel. It just said to sign in, but how do we join?
I think you have to create an account for every single Slack channel you join, which is why Discord is superior.
Okay. Because I went there and I didn't see any button or link that said, "Oh, I don't have an account. How do I join?" So that's why I was kind of confused.
Yeah, Slack has blown my mind in that capacity. Don't get me wrong. I have a Slack that is basically shaped exactly like I understand the human brain to be shaped. But there's a lot going on that one. Discord, you just sort of blend from one server to the next. It's beautiful.
Gotcha.
But definitely do both, because business runs on Slack and young minds run on Discord. So
I guess TLDR, I don't think I can join the Slack channel right now.
but I saw that that's telling you're in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm in the Discord. That was no problem, but the Slack was. Yeah.
Hey, with the Slack, we'll make it happen. Okay, I'm on
Okey doke.
Discord all the time.
Gotcha,
Cool.
gotcha.
Thanks for your screenshot. I appreciate you doing the hand mask.
For people who are interested, KubeCon is next week.
Ooh.
They want money for it, but it's only like $75, and it's the 17th through the 20th, so Tuesday through Friday. And I went last year to San Diego for it, and it was just such an awesome week. I can't even tell you. So I'm assuming that the online version is going to be good also.
Well, I'd invite you to post both links in either of the chat channels. By all means, I think it's great if we can meet as a community, outside our community, within another community, blah, blah, blah. That's awesome. So share away. There's no competitive vibes here. Anyone else?
Yeah, AWS reInvent is coming up, and that's free, near the end of the month.
Ah, great. Well, then I will take that as a segue into the next announcement, which is next December, this December, next month, we are going to be meeting the first week of December. And part of the reason we're going to be doing that is Robert has come on. He's agreed to help me host this thing, and he's already been quite instructive. He has pointed out that if we stop competing with the Sacramento AWS, we all will benefit from being able to go to the AWS meetup, which is at the moment, and I guess finishing, but also they will be able to join us. And I think it'll be good for both of our groups. So we're going to be moving to the first week of the month, and you'll see it in the meetup. It's already updated. Anything else? Cool. Well, we're down to 12 participants. Again, thank you all for showing up. You got all the time in the world, realistically. I might as well just leave this open, and then we can just, talk about stuff if you want.
I've got to head out, but thank you, everyone.
Thanks for coming. Hey, James, thank you so much. Jim, John, Tatum. James, how do we get a shout out, and how do we shout you out properly? Because I've got sacpy.org, but it's not a website yet, and it can be a website tomorrow if we want. We can we can make it look dope, and it'll be your slides, and it'll be like James Tahala's work behind the scenes. You guys don't understand what it takes to run a radio station.
Well, I don't know.
But that's okay. Well, you know, this is there's one SacPy that's just Sac Tech, and then there's a SacPy that's Brazen Studios. And do you know what brazen means? It means bold and without shame.
Yeah.
It means made of brass. So if anything, if anyone's gonna go and shit on your boss's head, it best not be you. That's how you lose a job.
Yeah.
But seriously, what you've done is beautiful Python work.
Good. Good. Thank you.
No, it's spread across files exactly how a Python project should be. Like no file is too long. Everything's pretty grokkable. It was presentable. You were presenting whole files, right? That wasn't just a part of a file.
No, that was, I was presenting parts of file. You mean in the code snippets?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt there were like a handful of other things, but it wasn't like 50 lines of 10,000. It was like 50 lines of like 75.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's, as I said, Pythonic.
Oh,
and so like you're doing it right. You're
Good,
doing it
thank
right
you.
is what I feel. That's what I feel anyway. I couldn't say
That's
for
good to
sure.
hear.
I only just got into it, but like what I recognize from at least GitHub or GitLab, any of those places where you can like host a repository saying like, hey, here's the thing I made. Like those, what you've created is like extensible. Like I could grab just the Pandas part, or I could grab just the Google Sheets part, or just the XLS writer part. And that's like exactly the point. It's exactly the point. It's completely usable. And then like you're up against, like you're literally scraping your own people's work.
Yes.
Like what is that? There's someone somewhere that has a finger on the button.
Yeah.
So then like how do we advocate for you without you burning yourself?
I'll just, you know what, I gotta talk more with my web folks and see what they say, because they have more. Actually, I'm in the NPR one Slack, so I could actually ask them.
Yeah.
If they have an API.
Maybe
you should just throw the bot in there and like start making things for them.
Or invite a bot to be in one of their channels.
No, exactly. No, Violet actually had like the perfect solution for the feature for that, which was suggest a feature.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Man.
And that's kind of the fun part, because that's like, it's now a proxy for an intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, the mechanical Turk. Mechanical Turk.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, but like Violet, that was the first thing, that was the first feature in your bot that I used, right? Maybe I used help, but help gave me suggest feature, and I suggested she continue being awesome.
Oh, is her bot in the actual it's in the SacPy Discord?
It could be. Violet, let's make that happen.
Can you hear me?
But
yes.
Yeah, kind of
faintly
distant.
Yeah, I'm in the car.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I covered some ground while you were talking. Like the internet started crapping out of the place I was at, and I was like, I guess I'm leaving.
I can hear your conversation. I heard artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I was saying is like James is doing awesome work, and maybe there's some way to like start pushing the agenda of like, let's put this everywhere, because all of us are doing like wildly repetitive work, and maybe there's like some level of distinction that we all add to all of those things we repeat. But the fact of the matter is, like, the distinction that adds the distinction to the behavior is the reason that we'll be able to continue to create new behaviors that can be automated. And so like automation isn't scary. Automation is like freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, you know, there's talented people, and why are you going to have a talented guy do mindless copy and paste work? It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, yeah.
I no, I feel like people like they get beat up, they get ground out because they're supposed to keep their eyeballs open more than the next person or something.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
But that's what data entry becomes, and that's why I kind of jokingly presented your project to the group as, you know, as always, another data manipulation project. Moving one thing to the next. But the cool part about the presentation is like we all of a sudden have this, if you're going to think about this in terms of like product management, especially like agile project management, namely Scrum, a user story. You have the user story of, hey, all of a sudden recognizable name, letter, camp radio, whatever. But they're doing something that's very real. Like, I feel like all of us have done it or been close to it. Of like, all right, here's a whole bunch of data, and it's a spreadsheet, so that matters. It's very important that it's like square or something because like you know that's how pixels are laid out, and it makes it a lot easier to draw it because like that's how data is presented in like the real world, right? Trees are all about grids. Definitely. So like how do you present that to the person who's in the position of the
You
hippo?
mean for NPR 1, you mean?
No, I'm just saying all of us in this position. Like today I got on the phone and I said some very strong things to a person who opted not to work with me 11 months ago when I finished a project out of a Python class, and I posted it on YouTube December 13th. I immediately pitched it to him and said, this could be huge for you. You could really change things. If nothing else, I can basically guarantee you these savings. And he said, oh, that's interesting. Let's talk about that approximately 6 months from now. And I said, well, okay, sure. Yeah. I'd be happy to watch the numbers, which you've granted to me via, you know, the reason I even started this project in the first place, which is I took this old ass restaurant from paper ordering to tablet ordering. And I was like, here's the benefit of this, guys. You're going to spend a few $100s on a handful of tablets. You're going to digitize all your orders. And then all of a sudden, people aren't running around like chickens with their heads cut off, putting pieces of paper like behind people that shouldn't have people behind them and stuff like that. And they sped up operations by 50%. And now I'm saying, hey, you've got all these people that keep track of what's going on with all this new data that I've helped you generate. And you want them to behave in a very manual fashion on a very robotic pace and with like little to no supervision with respect to like a service level agreement. Like they're entirely okay with someone turning these things in like 3 days late or something like that. So like I come to them and say like, hey, I did exactly what James did. Selenium. I logged into your website. I went to the right page. I found the right areas of data. I copied, I pasted, I created an Excel sheet. And I took an Excel sheet you already had and I just put the data in the areas you're expecting it to be in. And you're literally making people look at it with their human ass eyeballs and their like skin cell ass photoreceptors that will flake off and create floaters in vision. Like you're making them stare at a blinking rectangle and type it in just because occasionally someone will copy paste a space or something like that into your precious Excel sheet. And I said, hey, I made a bot. You guys have an API. Unfortunately, it requires $3,000 worth of investment in order to get access to it. But like, obviously, you're not going to go for that because like you really don't care about money. You don't care about people. just know that like the original owners that created this franchise created just a brilliant recipe for tri-tap, and then everything else is based on that. And like they took 13 months, no, sorry, 11 months until I finally came back to them and said like, hey, so I've been watching your numbers because you gave me access to your numbers. I've been watching your numbers, and you have literally lost $30,000 by not working with me because you're creating a case where a human has to stare at a screen to copy and paste something to another screen, which can be done pixel perfect at breakneck, ludicrous speed by a computer every time.
And more
So
accurately.
You're like perfectly accurately, infallibly accurately, beyond reproach. Like, just don't even worry about it. Put it in the cloud and fall asleep. You don't even turn on your laptop. And I'm like, I got just this heated with that guy, and he was like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need psych meds or something like that?"
So you
And
know
I'm
what?
like, wait, do you? Because like you just wasted $30,000 by not accepting the fact that I would give you fucking free ass code in exchange for just like sandwiches for life.
You know, so
And I've been
I'm
running your
lucky in
numbers.
that, like in my previous job, they had the same attitude, but here at Cap Radio, they embrace innovation more, I should say. Not, not completely, but they embrace it more. So once I came up with this, they were like, yeah, go run with it, and see what you could do. So I mean, there's other projects too,
Oh,
behind the
always.
scenes,
That's
but
the best part about balling out someone who is just like, they don't get it. Like, they have given you the opportunity to like see within the kimono and say like, hey, this is how your thing is dangling. It could be a little bit better if you moved it this way. And they go like, I let you see inside. And I go like, yeah, it could be 10 times better. And they go like, I know you're asking for 1/100th of that, but like, I hate you for looking inside at all. Or something. I don't know. It's some sort of pride. It's some sort of
yeah.
just like
It's
shame.
I
It's some
think
sort
so.
of like,
In my experience, it's just people think for some reason a human looking at it will make it more accurate, which yeah, I don't know. Usually it doesn't. But I do have to go. So thank you, everyone. Thank you,
say
Woody, for inviting
part
me.
of my
And
rant. Thank you for coming, man. That was great.
good,
Also, that's
good.
great code. Like, you're doing amazing things. I can't wait to see what Cap Radio becomes, because you could make them
Oh
10 times
man,
more.
yeah,
Don't like take this as a moment to be like, I could make 10 times more elsewhere. Like, make Cap Radio 10 times more, because if the world had 10 times more Cap Radio, like, everyone wins.
yeah,
I was,
got it.
but I'm biased. I grew up on it.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Woody. Thank you, everyone.
Take her easy.
Bye, and thank you, Violet.
Yeah, thanks, Violet. All right,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna call it at that. Take her easy. It's 9:08. We're 8 past the hour. It's 2 minutes till we're an hour till grace period or something like that. But who talks about grace? But bless us, O Lord, for these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Blah blah.